Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome along to Sandown Park for our second race of the afternoon from the Elite Karting Series. This time, for the first time in the series, we have got an isolated heavyweights grid. You can see there forming up behind safety cars Dante Dillon, and well, we can bring your grid for you. It's Tom Angier on pole position with a 62.128. Slightly behind him, only 0.3 of a second in it, was Vito Dacres with Mark Martin in third, 1 second behind Tom. Dane Christensen is fourth with Matt Putland in fifth, and then two people not able to set a competitive time due to issues with their understanding of the format, actually, was Terry Battersby and Matthew Boulton. Now, I'm Tom Dillon, and alongside me, of course, is series founder Luke Battersby. And Luke, as we switch over to have a look at Matthew Boulton, I mean, it's got to be a mighty drive through the field for him.
Yeah, basically what happened in qualifying was Matthew saw on the gantry last lap, thought that meant qualifying was starting, but it actually meant it's the last lap of warm-up. Qualifying starts on the next lap. So yeah, that's what happened. Same as what happened with my dad, Terry Battersby, who you can see just to the left-hand side. So there was a bit of confusion there. That's why they are starting at the back. So yeah, like you say, Matthew's got a bit of a job on his hands here to go from last to, well, theoretically first place if he can do it. But yeah, here we go for the race start.
So, green flag is flying for the heavyweights at Sandown Park, and it's a superb start from Tom Angier down into turn one. Boulton is getting an even better start as we go over to our static camera. You can see that down the inside, Matthew Boulton is already up into third position. That is a superb start from the man who went into this round in a very competitive spot in the championship. Tom Angier himself is trying to defend from Vito Dacres, who has had a very respectable start himself.
Really good start there from Matthew, like you say, going from 7th place all the way up into P3. That was really good there, just flew past a couple of people off the line, and he's now up into 3rd place with Vito Dacres in front of him. Vito is super heavyweight driver, Vito, so he's one of our heaviest drivers on the grid, and he's not really used to DMAX karts either. He's not really used to two-strokes, so he's doing really well here. Qualified in 2nd place, and he's keeping Matthew behind him for the time being.
But for how long is that going to last is the question as we go through that final corner. Now it's a superb switchback from Matthew Boulton, who might just get the drive here, has to tuck back into the slipstream of Vito Dacres as they go down into turn one. Is there going to be a dive from Matthew Boulton on his cut back through the field? It looks like there is. That is a fine move from Matthew Boulton, but he's not quite made it stick just yet. Still has to go heavy onto the brakes. You can see his camera cutting out for a moment. It's one of the issues with his cam box that he's wearing on the helmet, but he is able to get himself up into 2nd position. Now he can set his sights on this man, Tom Angier, who is very pacey himself.
He is indeed, yeah. It was a good move there by Matthew, just briefly cut out there, but yeah, Matthew managed to go up the inside, stay up the inside for turn 2, and he managed to complete the move then coming out of turn 2, and as he got into turn 3, so that's now 2nd place for Matthew. Really good start here, gone from 7th place all the way up into P2. Can he now reel in Tom Angier? In fact, I think he's right behind him already. So Matthew, he's on a fantastic charge here, right behind Tom Angier as he comes out of the final corner. We're on board with Tom Angier at the moment, now on board with Matthew. So as you can see, he's on the back bumper here. Matthew doing a little bit of commentary as well inside the crash helmet, commentating with the cam box, as you say, as they're now heading out through turn 1. Tom's actually taking turn 1 really well there, pulled a bit of a gap on Matthew.
And I can always say that I wouldn't like my crash helmet audio to be recorded when I'm doing karting, but a wide line from Matthew Boulton trying to get that cut back and focus on that exit speed. I saw on my other monitor there that Tom had a little bit of a look over his shoulder. He knows that Matthew Boulton here is very racy and wants to complete this drive through the field. He might be alongside here. You can see they're disappearing through into the lead of the race from Tom Angier's crash helmet. Tom Angier is going to try and come back at him though. Here he goes around the outside. Boulton having to defend as they go down into turn 6. Then it will be turn 7. A fine move from Matthew Boulton. Tom Angier doing nothing in defence really though. Now he goes back down the inside. It's going to have to be a cutback for Matthew Boulton. Fantastic stuff between the two of them.
That was a brilliant bit of driving there. Great move by Matthew into turn 5, went for the move, and now Tom Andrew looks like he's trying to try and get back again as they go down into turn 1 into Vale. Tom, he's back into the lead of the race. How many times are these two going to change positions? This is fantastic. It's still side by side as they go into turn 2. Matthew's got the inside line, and I think Matthew's just about going to get the lead back there. That was brilliant racing. A great half a lap between the two of them. These two, they are good friends off the circuit. Both are regulars here at Sandown Park. Both are champions in the DMAX karts here at Sandown, and that was a brilliant battle there. Started off here this time last lap with Matt going at the inside. Then they stayed side by side through turn 6. Then Tom went back for the move at turn 8. Then Tom went back for the move at turn 1. Then Matt got past it at turn 2. That was fantastic battling between the two of them.
It really was, and these two, clearly the class of the heavyweight field. I mean, I look at my timing monitor on my left-hand side, Luke, and I see that, they've already pulled out about 2 seconds to all of the drivers behind. There is some battling going on. I should mention Vito Dacres is pretty much in no man's land, but Dane Christensen in 4th, Terry Battersby in 5th, Mark Martin and Matt Putland have both had an incident in the first couple of laps. So a little bit unfortunate for them.
Shout out to Vito, by the way. You can't quite see it in camera, but he's just behind Tom Andrew at the moment. He's only 1 second behind Tom, so Vito doing a fantastic job here. Like we say, he's a super heavyweight driver, not used to Sandown Park either, and he's doing really, really well here to keep up with these two guys, especially around a track like this, in wet conditions like this. He's doing superb.
He is indeed, and well, so is Tom Andrew actually, as he's trying to attack Matthew Boulton here still, though Matthew just sort of having the measure of him at the moment, I think would be fair to say, Luke, because here he goes trying to get through, muscle the cart through turn 6. He's taking a little bit of a wet line. I mean, it's difficult to tell sometimes whether the old wet line is intentional or just in fact is someone missing the apex. But look at the exits that Matthew is getting out of the corners. Tom is really, he's not struggling, but Matthew is just driving so well at the moment.
He is. I mean, Matthew, he's one of the best drivers you'll come across. He's the lap record holder at Team Sport Metcham. Fastest guy there by a long way. He wins every time he goes down there. He's such a good driver. And yeah, been racing now at Sandown Park for around about the last year in these DMAX karts, so he knows exactly what he's doing. Only 16 years old, so he's really good for his age. Very good driver indeed. And well, if you kind of, when you're on board with, oh, in fact, actually, saying that, Tom Andrew looks like he was trying to go for the move then into turn 4, and now trying to go for the move again now coming out of turn 5. He's all over the back of Matthew here. There was a bit of a gap just a second ago, but now Tom, he's right behind.
He is looking at that move, if at all possible. It's not going to come easily to him, as we said. Tom Andrew and Matthew Boulton, both fantastic drivers, and Matthew obviously is really looking quite fast as well. And you don't really want to be in a situation where you've started, 6th or 7th and you don't go on to win the race. So there's extra pressure on Matthew Boulton here. He'll be hopefully not putting that on himself, but here goes Tommy. Again, he's just showing his nose at every opportunity. This is very smart, as we've got about 3 minutes left in this race, so I make that about 4 laps or so. And, these two, I think, will be squabbling right to the flag.
I think they will, indeed. Yeah, Tom, really fast driver, 3-time champion here at Sandown Park. Also races in Club 100 karts, so he knows exactly what he's doing in these Birrell N35 DMAX karts, same karts as what they use in Club 100. And yeah, got Matthew just in front. I was just saying about Matthew, as he speaks to himself, I think he just said he's just pulled a nice little gap there. I think he just said to himself. Yeah, I was just saying with Matthew, he's got a really composed driving style. What you'll see with him, he has very little in the way of oversteer. It's very much chuck it in and then just keep it balanced. He's so good at keeping these karts balanced and kind of doing that lovely 4-wheel slide from the corner. So coming up then, we're starting lap 7 of the race. We've got Matthew Boulton in the lead ahead of Tom Andrew. Got Vito Dacres now 3.7 seconds behind in P3. So Vito doing a really good job here of keeping up with these two Sandown regulars. We then got Dane Christensen in at P4. Dane's not used to this circuit at all. He lives all the way up in Scotland and travelled all the way down from Brechin in Scotland for this event. He's doing so well here. First time at Sandown. We then got Mark Martin in P5 right in front of Matt Putland. So those two, as you see him just go for a shot actually. They are battling it out for 5th position. And then we have my father, Terry Battersby, in P7.
Well, it's a leisurely time, isn't it, Terry Battersby? But he's actually been driving very well throughout the course of this race. I think he had a little bit of a spin earlier on, but he has been quite composed. He's been keeping out of people's way, which is always a sign of one of the sort of slower drivers who is actually still pretty competent at the wheel.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his lap times, his fastest lap of the race is only 2/10 slower than that of Mark Martin. So, you know, Terry, he's doing a decent job here. It's his first time karting in a long time, and but he won't like me saying this, but he is getting on a bit of age. He's 61 years old. So I don't think he's doing too bad for someone who's in their 60s. Yeah, keeping up with some very experienced drivers like Mark Martin, who's a fellow super heavyweight driver, and been racing for many years, including down here at Sandown. So I don't think Terry's doing too bad. Yeah, we're back on board with Matthew Boulton, talking to himself once more.
And he's on the last lap as well, Luke.
Is it? Oh, yeah, he is indeed, yeah.
Yes, Tom Angier's trying to attack him, but I don't think it's going to be enough for him as rounds through turn 6 and turn 7. I mean, you have to question if there's any stopping Matthew Boulton in this race, but let's sort of sing him through this turn 8 now then, as here he goes through the hairpin, talking to himself as well, and he'll celebrate this victory for a long time. 7th to 1st from Matthew Boulton. That is a fantastic performance, Luke.
That was a superb drive indeed. Yeah, really good stuff there from Matthew, going from last place all the way up to 1st. That was really good indeed. But just having a look at the live timing, Tom Angier on the final lap there, he has taken the fastest lap of the race off of Matthew Boulton. So Tom Angier there just set a 1 minute 1.314. Matt's fastest lap meanwhile is a 1 minute 1.343. So Tom Angier just took the fastest lap there by 300ths of a second, and interestingly that means Tom's going to be on pole for the next race, because remember, for the next race, heavyweight race 2, the grid is set based on your fastest lap in heavyweight race 1. So Tom Angier has done a really good job there on the final lap to set the fastest lap of the race, and yeah, he's going to be starting the next race on pole position.
But let's round up how they finished this one then, with Matthew Boulton taking the victory, of course. Tom Angier in 2nd position, beat out by 1.3 seconds in the end. Vito Dacres with a very good 3rd position, 5.9 seconds back from the leading pack, but he won't mind too much. A very good finish for him. Dane Christensen is in 4th, with Mark Martin finishing in 5th, having a bit of a battle throughout that race with Matt Putland after an incident in the first couple of laps. Terry Battersby finishing in last position after a little bit of a trouble, but I'm sure a very fun affair. Let's go down to the pits and see who I've been able to catch. So I'm joined now by Matt. Matt, you had a race with Mark throughout that. It looked very fun. Not quite able to get him in the end, but I suppose next race we'll be looking to push him.
Yeah, definitely. Down on the first corner, everyone just, trying to hustle and bustle for positions, and literally just see Mark spin out in front of me and thought it's either the wall or Mark. So unfortunately, had a little bit of a coming together down on the first turn there, but managed to get it back, got behind Mark, and really just to see where I was going wrong for race 2.
And obviously, you haven't been by the front yet, but how is the sort of pace feeling in this heavyweight grid?
Yeah, fine. I mean, like, we're all ballasted up anyway, so everyone's around 90, I think, varying up to 110 kilos. It's sort of that horrible conditions at the moment for karting, where it's sort of like in between dry and wet, so it's just remembering where you can put your foot down earlier than, other corners. But no, pace is fine, and I think, second race we'll be able to push up there a little bit more.
Well, thank you for joining us, Matt, and good luck for the next race.
No worries, cheers.
Terry, difficult race, but first time back in a kart for a while. It must have felt good to get out there.
It was very good, Tom. First time back in a car for a long time, properly. Beginning to get used to the track. Yeah, know when to turn in, when to brake. So hopefully the next heat, which is the second 10-minute heat, should be a little bit better. But feeling fine, feeling good. Enjoying it, which is the main thing. That's why we're here.
And you went 4 seconds faster in the race than you did in qualifying. Was there a mistake in your qualifying lap, or did you just get used to the car?
Qualifying lap, there was a mistake. I forgot the rules. So the last lap, I slowed down instead of doing the qualifying lap. So that's why I'm 4 seconds a lap faster.
See yourself on the podium?
Definitely not. Definitely not. The only way I'm going to get onto the podium is if I physically go and stand on it now.
Thank you, Terry, for joining us. Optimistic as always.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tom.